Against James Robert Adams, file number 25B823708 and 82371. Mr. Mullen, why don't you and your client come on up to the podium?
Walk at the podium,
Please. Good morning. Your name?
Caitlin Polycar, New Fresno Township.
Good morning, Your Honor. Robert Mullen on behalf of Mr. James Robert Adams, to my right.
James Robert Adams.
All right. So your client pled guilty to dog at large as a misdemeanor under section 771.1. That was last week. I believe that was on the 27th. We set the sentence date. He also pled responsible to no dog license. And I believe all the cases against Ms. Langmeyer were dismissed, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
All right. Counsel, I didn't order a pre-sentence report. What would you like to say?
Just briefly, Your Honor. First off, I'll start off with my client has no prior criminal history. He's grown up in this community, Your Honor. He went to high school at Flat Rock. He's raised his family in this community. He and his wife own a business together. I give him a lot of respect. He works every day with his wife. They've done that for over 8 years. They have a venture glass cleaning business. They're very successful, very busy.
What kind of business?
Glass cleaning.
Okay.
And very hard workers. Every time I talk to them and see them, they're always working, you know, and I've known Mr. Adams for over 25, 30 years. And with that being said, Your Honor, I just a couple of brief things. One is Mr. Adams is 100% committed to being compliant with this court's order and obedient to the court's recommendations as well as its orders. And in saying that, you know, Judge, I want this court to know there's never been an allegation of any of his dogs being aggressive towards other dogs or other people in the community. And I'll just be blunt in what I like to say. This is something that has to do an issue with a neighbor. It's a personal vendetta this neighbor has specifically against him. And why do I say that? It's not about a dog off leash. It's about Jim Adams's dog being off leash. He knows that he has to comply with the law. I'm not saying those things to make it sound like it's not important or, you know, this doesn't matter, but I think that's true. One of the things that I would ask this court is my client is a hunter. Those dogs are hunting dogs. He trains them and uses them to hunt. My assumption would be that the court's limitations on like being out of his yard and stuff off his property, none of that would apply to if the dogs are actually in a hunting or hunting training capacity on land designated for that. We're not talking about walking through his neighborhood on my way to go hunt. All right. So I want to put that out there, and I'm assuming the court wouldn't have a problem with that. But if the court does, I want to address it now because Mr. Adams does not want any future problems regarding the dog being off leash. Additionally, Your Honor, you know, Mr. Adams is in the process of getting the testing necessarily that's been requested. He's got an appointment with a Dr. Greer at the Woodhaven Animal Hospital to get whatever's necessary to qualify for the license. The one dog has all his shots up to date. The other dog is going through a different medical procedure for qualification for the registration. Why? I can show the dog, show this court as well as the prosecutor medically the issues with getting the dog just vaccinated. There's been extreme health problems with the dog when it was originally vaccinated, and the doctor's working on a different process so that we can meet the qualifications.
As long as the dog is registered within 30 days, licensed, and the only way it can be licensed is if it has its shots, right?
If it has the antibody, if it has either the shots or the qualifies as if it had the shots. The doctor is doing a testing that's called titers testing, and it will allow the veterinarian to qualify the dog based on its antibodies to rabies. And so we're doing everything we can on that right now. I know what this court wants, and that's what we're working towards, Your Honor.
Let's talk about, well, first of all, do you have any thoughts, Ms. Foley Carter, on what Mr. Mullen just said?
Yeah, our ordinance is pretty specific that in order to obtain a license, the dog must be vaccinated for rabies.
So that's the issue, and I'm gonna expect that done.
Well, Your Honor, when you say vaccinated for rabies, dogs are vaccinated in order to obtain the antibodies so they don't get rabies. And what we're doing is making sure that the dog qualifies by having the antibodies.
Listen, I'm not getting into all this. I'm just telling you the dog has to be licensed within, all dogs in that house have to be licensed within 30 days. And that means they have to have rabies shots, period. I'm not going to have an argument in 30 days about whether or not this dog is capable of being vaccinated because of other issues. It's just not.
Judge, I would ask this though of the court, and I think there is room for this discussion.
I'm not the ordinance officers. I'm just going to order the dogs be licensed within 30 days, and they have their set of requirements that require that. And if I think that they're not licensed within 30 days for whatever reason, we're going to have a violation hearing.
I can deal with that, but one other thing, Judge, when I took this plea and we talked about it, you said, as long as my clients are trying to do the right thing, you'll give them a little grace in that process. You did say that to me.
Wait a second. Recall the conversation. You and I and Ms. Foley Carter met in chambers.
Correct.
The stipulated plea agreement here says
Within 30 days.
must register and obtain license for all animals in the home within 30 days. I didn't promise I wouldn't violate if they don't have a license within 30 days for whatever reason. I was talking, I don't know in what context you're talking about that I said that.
You want me to repeat it, Your Honor?
Yeah, absolutely.
We were talking in chambers. And while it's not on the record, specifically it was mentioned, look, because I started to tell you about the Titus test and this and that. And you said, listen, let them do what they need to do to get these dogs registered. If I see that they're working at it in good faith, I'll work with them. That's all you said, Judge. You didn't say you wouldn't violate them in 30 days. I don't want to misrepresent what was said. I just want you to know that they're on it. They've got an appointment for this dog at the vet to get this handled. We're working in that direction. These are law-abiding people, even though it doesn't seem that way in this context with these dogs and off-leash list charges. But I really do believe Mr. Adams and Ms. Langmeyer are going to be able to get things done and satisfy the animal control that they're doing all the things to protect the community based on what's necessary to register these dogs.
I want to make sure I understand what your position is, Ms. Foley Carter. What you want me to order is in accordance with the stipulated plea agreement. I just want to repeat it. If they have to register and obtain licenses for all animals in the home within 30 days, that they remain in the residence or in a fenced-in yard or on a leash or lead when outside. That's the extent to which you're asking me to order, correct?
Your Honor. Yes.
Okay. Would you like to say anything?
He's asking you this. I showed Bob here, my attorney, pictures the last time we had him vaccinated. And the dog broke out. We thought he was gonna die. So he's got a neurological issue right now where he shakes. He sits there and he shakes because of those vaccines. Well, we've done our homework. We started reading on it, what the vaccines do and all these things and all these regulations. And, it's no different than the COVID shot. Everybody wanted to get vaccinated, right? Now people are the ones that didn't get vaccinated, don't have any issues. The ones that got vaccinated got all kinds of issues.
I got vaccinated. I don't have any issues. I got vaccinated 3 or 4 times. I haven't had any issues.
There's people that have all kinds.
I don't want to get into this.
Reaction.
Hang on. I don't want to get into this anti-vax stuff.
I don't either. I just don't want my dog to die.
Nobody wants your dog to die.
Okay.
But I want to make sure that if the dog is involved in some kind of scruff with another person or a dog, that nobody dies. That rabies that's very serious stuff. And that's what I want to make sure nobody contracts. Now, listen, I want to correct you, Mr. Mullen. And I got to tell you, and when you and I had this conversation before, I don't want to hear any more about vendettas. If you do the right things, I don't care who has how many vendettas against you or how many people have vendettas against you. I mean, you can't let your dogs. Now, look, I and my secretary pulled these up. I don't even want to talk about how many times you and your wife have been in here on dog cases. It's ridiculous. I've never seen such a thing. I told her 3-4 years ago, you guys want to have dogs roam around? I think I said, buy a property in Monroe County with 50 or 75 acres. Let the dogs run all over the yard. You can't have them running through subdivisions. And this doesn't sound like a vendetta to me as much as it does. I'm looking at this report. Larry Korozinski provided multiple home surveillance videos of the dogs owned by Adams and Langmeyer, November 24th at 12:18. Both dogs are in the neighbor's property peeing on a tree in the front yard. Both at 5:19 p.m. that same day, both dogs are roaming Adams Langmeyer property until a jogger who's passing the residence is greeted by both dogs in the street. This is on video surveillance. This is what they're telling me. I mean, if this guy or whoever's filming out this police report, because I saw people shaking their head over here, whoever's filling out the police report would be terminated. They'd be fired. If they're telling me they've seen in a report that's provided to the court that they've got a dog on surveillance. Who prepared this report, Ms. Foley Carter, this Animal Control Department report?
Kaylin Anifrak, and I did.
Did you see the video?
I did.
December 1, a delivery driver is parked in front of the Adams Langmeyer residence. One of the dogs is spotted roaming the immediate neighbor's property and near the front easement by the road. The same dog's identified multiple houses away from its residence. December 5, 11:05 a.m. Black dog spotted running from home and cuts through immediate neighbor's property and continues running. December 7. At 3:25 a.m., both dogs leave the Adams Langmeyer property. Someone from the residence follows that person seen holding the black dog by the collar to bring him back to the residence. White dog remained untethered. I'm paraphrasing a little. December 8th, 24 at 11:07 a.m., man is walking his two dogs down the street. The black dog that resides at the Langmeyer property runs into the road, approaching the two dogs and the owner. The owner has his dogs sit while someone from the Adams Langmeyer residence walks out to the street to get the black dog back onto the property. December 28th, 3:14. Neighbor next to Adams Langmeyer residence comes out of home. Black dog and the other white dog leaves the Adams Langmeyer residence to follow neighbor. I don't need to go into the rest of this, but we have laws. Dogs can't roam all over the neighborhood. They might be the most docile dogs in the history of mankind, but this can't go on anymore. I'm just saying, and I don't want to hear any more about how somebody's got a vendetta. I wouldn't have to have a vendetta against somebody. I'd be calling if I saw dogs roaming all over my street like this.
Judge, the reason I say vendetta is because if you look at all those videos, there's a ton of other dogs without leashes on that are not getting. And listen, we have to be responsible for our dogs and be in compliance with the law. But that doesn't mean we can't have an opinion based on independent evidence of other dogs being off leash and it's not being reported because it's between these neighbors. And there's a reason, but look at Judge, my client needs to be obedient with the law. That's what I'm here for. And you have a right to say, hey, we're violating the law. But my vendetta term, it came from a different place of information you're not provided with. And that's, I'll be quiet.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Mr. Adams, anything else? I mean, he can say something. You don't have to tell him to say no.
I want him to say no, Judge.
Well, that's fine. But
I mean,
but I've had it with these dogs. I've had it.
this is a new dog, actually.
I don't care. I don't care. Dogs in your house have been doing this for a long time. I threatened to send your wife to jail last time that she came in here 3 years ago. I'm done with it. I'm telling you, I'm done with it. We don't get to have that done. If you have complaints about other people's dogs, by all means, call the animal control.
Because I don't care. I don't.
Well, that might be.
And they were in there today. They walked across my street today. There were dogs this morning.
That might be.
without a leash on.
You,
I don't care.
you cannot defend your actions. I mean, it's like the guys who come in here. I told your lawyer this. I can't believe the police officer wrote me for going 84 in a 70. There were people passing me. He didn't write them. You shouldn't find me responsible here. It's ridiculous. That's not the way the law works. I'm telling you, I'm done with the dogs roaming the street, and I don't care how many dogs are roaming the street. If they start coming in on dog at large cases, I'll deal with them appropriately. This is ridiculous. This is completely ridiculous that we're still talking. I don't even want to know how many cases. I've heard about dog at large cases with you and your wife now for years. 12 months probation, section 771.1. You cannot leave the state without the consent of the court. You cannot violate a law or ordinance if you change your address, your place of employment, or home telephone number. You must notify probation. You have to report as directed. You have to register and obtain licenses for all animals in the home within 30 days. I'm not getting into a debate about whether or not vaccination is good or bad for this dog. You have to figure out a way to convince the township that these dogs are going to be licensed, that you've taken all steps to make sure they're adequately licensed within 30 days. They're to remain in your residence or in a fenced-in yard or on a leash or lead when they are outside. No contact with Larry Korasinski. You cannot write, phone, see, text, email, or communicate with him or have anybody else do any of those things for you or on your behalf. Give me 1 second here.
Well, I do. And I'll clarify with the judge.
5 days court work program starting July 31. We're going to have a review hearing.
What was that, Judge?
Listen, let me explain. I'm ordering 5 days on the court work program, which I'm not going to charge him for now. And it's going to be July 31. We're going to have a review hearing date. Well, Lisa, I think you need to give me a day when Brownstown's here.
July 30th.
July 30th. So I'll say beginning, that's a Wednesday, right?
Correct.
All right, so that would make it the 2nd of August for the court work program. That's a Saturday, right?
Yes, it is.
All right, review hearing date will be July 30. And that will be at 8:30 in the morning. And as long as we haven't had any problems, I'm not even going to charge him for those now, Mr. Mullen. He's not going to have to do the court work. But if that dog's running at large and I find out about it, he's doing court work program.
Yes, sir.
100 fines, 150 costs, 75 victims' rights, $50 justice assessment. That's $375. You have probation fees of $240 for 615. We're going to give you a review hearing date here too. And that's, I'm talking about at the end, so I can dismiss the case, hopefully. What date will that be? Like, go ahead.
March 25th at 9.
Mr. Adams, I don't have any problem with you. I have no problem with your wife. I have a problem with you guys letting dogs run around, and I don't know what I can do about it except start to get real tough, and I don't want to do that.
No, and I understand, and trust me, I'm done with it too. It's not gonna happen.
All right, thank you. All right, so that's what we'll do. Can he pay this today, or does he need time?
No, I think.
All right, so review date, March 25th at 9. Mr. Mullen, unless there's an issue, and your representation obviously ends today, I don't think it'll be necessary for you to show up unless there's an issue on July 30. But you
Yes,
guys
sir.
do what you want, okay?
Yes, sir.
So I want to just make a note, first review date, July 30 at 8:30. I'm going to make a note here on the order somewhere. Court work program to be suspended if defendant compliant. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Have a good day, everybody. Thank
Judge,
you
can I
very much.
approach just for a second?
Sure. Go off the record. Good luck, Mr. Adams.
Judge, I
You'll have
believe
to
there was
talk
a
to
civil infraction.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's 135 on that.